And good afternoon, everybody! Welcome here to our main event here at StuntRoad. This is the Rockstar 300, presented by Rockstar Energy as we get ready here for an exciting event. It's going to be race number 17 of Season 8 of the Snickers Cup Series. Now, if you guys didn't tune in for the last video that was put out, we had two qualifying heats at the exact same time, and the top 20, the top 10, I should say, from each heat ended up making up 20 cars that are going to take place here in the main event. Now, this main event is going to have a lot of rewards for those who did make it, because the drivers that are in this main event here, they end up not only getting extra points over the drivers that did not qualify, but also if a driver that hasn't been to victory lane yet this season wins, they could have themselves a spot in the chase locked up. Now, keep in mind that in this race, even though you win, it's coming down to the nitty-gritty, because I looked back through the running order, through the standings and everything. Out of the race winners this season, we've had 14 different race winners, which means there are only 2 more slots left in the chase for drivers that are going to win this season, and we still got 4 more races, including this one, still to go. So what if we had 4 different race winners that haven't gone to victory lane yet this season in the next 4 weeks? That means that 2 drivers that have been to victory lane this season already could miss out on the chase for the championship, depending on where they're running in the points. So this is going to be so huge here tonight. We're going to have to see if maybe a different race winner can go to victory lane, or if we have a repeat winner, that's going to be a big sigh of relief for a number of those drivers that have wins this season, but are not doing so well in the points as far as points-wise. Joshua Collard starts on the pole. These drivers all lining up according to where they finished in either Heat 1 or Heat 2. Joshua Collard was the winner of Heat 1, thus he starts on the pole position. He's still looking for his first win of the season and trying to get Mitsubishi Lancer to victory lane for the first time this season. They've been close quite a few times, just haven't been able to get it done. Alongside of him, Levi McIntyre won Heat number 2, so he'll start on the outside of row number 1. McIntyre already has been to victory lane this season at Rockingham, UK, but he would love to be able to join the ranks of Trent Dunham and Sean Galligan, who have already guaranteed themselves spots with 2 wins this season in the chase for the championship. Jacob Lawler, another driver who'd love to do the same thing, he won back at Troyes Riveras, came away with a last-minute second place, finishing Heat number 1 after somebody, I think it was Bob Jones, encountered problems out of the final corner. He's going to line up in third, looking for his second win of the season, as he's trying to go for his second straight Snickers Cup Series championship. And alongside of him, a driver that really has needed a lot of luck, and it's actually the only Toyota in this main event, and that's Kyle Corbett in the 56 for Gibbs Waltrip Mayonnaise Racing. And right off the top 5 is going to be yet another Mitsubishi Lancer in Charles Sanford. He's still looking for his first win of the season. He hasn't won a Snickers Cup Series race since the Daytona 500 of Season 7. Let's get these cars rolling off here, and while they complete their pace lap, I'm going to break down a very interesting point scenario coming into today's event. As I said, only 20 drivers, as Levi McIntyre almost wrecked there coming off of pit road, and we are going to have to deal with a little bit of lag. I apologize. I tried fixing. I don't know why it is lagging. Hopefully something's going to kick in where it won't do that. I don't understand it, though. I mean, I don't have anything else open. But anyway, coming into this race, out of the top 10 in points, let me break it down for you. Sean Galligan, Trent Dunham, Ralph Mason, first through third in points, not taking part in today's event. James McLeod just barely squeaked his way in. He's fourth in points. He's in here. Anthony McCurry, sixth in points. Sean Henley, sixth in points. McCurry is fifth and Sean Henley is sixth. I think I messed that up. They are not in this event. Harrison Langford and Charles Sanford, though, seventh and eighth in points, they are. Ashley LaPlante, 9th in points, is not in the main event, but John Cittadino, 10th in points, is. Cole Daly, 11th in points, is not in the main event. Dylan Young, Jessica Shelton, 12th and 13th in points, they're in the main event. This is going to be so huge as far as points here, because the drivers that didn't make this event are going to get a default 20 points. Everybody else that finishes this race, depending on where they finish, they're going to come away with really good points. As here we go, Joshua Collard, Levi McIntyre. Neither one of them started on the front row for their heat races, but they start in the front row here for the main event. So let's see how that's going to determine how they finish out today's races. Lawler immediately goes by McIntyre. He'll move to second. Sanford now looking for third. So Joshua Collard got through the first corners very well. He will keep the lead. And it was certainly a dominating fashion that he won his heat race by, but he's got company. Jacob Lawler is right there in the Great Clip Chevy Camaro out of Hendrick Dowling Motorsports. He is one of 3 Hendrick Dowling Motorsports drivers in this main event. He made it, so too did Kyle Matthews and Cody Lamas. As Charles Sanford gets a nice run on the high side there on Jacob Lawler, and they spin it! They spin it right in front of Dylan Poteet and company. Poteet's going to push his way through. He's not going to be stopped. Number of other drivers doing the same thing as Lawler's going to get spun to the pit road. So that's not good for the defending champ. That could take him out of winning this thing. Trying to find out where Sanford is. I guess he was able to get his car refired up and drive away. And apparently the lag is still with us. Nothing I can do about it. But Joshua Collard leads the way now. Now that opened up a huge distance between himself and I believe second place Dylan Poteet. Yep, Poteet's now into second. I think third was, well, I thought it was John Cittadino, but no, it's actually Levi McIntyre. So McIntyre did a good job starting on that outside of that front row to keep his car in contention still. As he is in third position. Oh, Bob Jones just got together with somebody. I think that was Sanford. No, it was Dutta. Ian Dutta and Bob Jones getting together. Spinning right in front of Tanner Sullivan was Bob Jones. And now James McLeod's running into trouble back there. He had some contact with, I believe, Kyle Matthews. Now Ian Dutta is hung up on the pit wall. And now he's had to teleport to pit road. So there you have drivers already encountering problems. Jacob Lawler got spun down the pit lane. There he is. Is he still on the lead lap? He could be. Yeah, he's still on the lead lap, I think. But he's on the tail end of the lead lap. Now he's got to hope all these other guys run into trouble. There's no damage and there's no pit stops. So right now, Lawler behind the 8 ball. Looks like right now with where he's running, however, depending on where Ian Dutta will finish, Lawler would leave with 23 points here tonight. But Collard looking very much like he looked in the first heat race. Out in front, large and in charge. It's just a matter of whether he's going to be able to keep it that way as he went really wide through that bank turn, was scraping that wall off that corner. Just a little aside here, we haven't seen it here this weekend, but I have seen drivers take that turn really wide and actually flip over coming out of the exit. I think one of them one of the drivers that actually had that happen to him a couple of seasons ago was Trent Dunham. Right now, though, Joshua Collard leading the way. But the thing is, you got to remember, in the 2 heat races, remember when there was Danny Wells and John Cittadino both dominating the heat races early on? What happened to them? The both of them ended up hitting that entrance to pit road wall. Now, Danny Wells was not able to recover. He did not make the main event. John Cittadino somehow was able to recover, and he ended up racing his way into this main event. I think he ended up finishing 8th in his heat race. There was a car on the pit lane. I'm going to wager a guess, just from what I saw, it was Isaac Canepa, and that's exactly who it was. And he was running 4th at the time. Something happened to the 8 car. We cannot go back and look at replays due to the fact that there are no cautions, and the action is hot and heavy everywhere. We just can't miss out on it. There's Cody Lamas in the 9th position right now. He's battling with Charles Sanford, Kyle Corbett. John Cittadino, we just mentioned him. He's in the 7th position. Bob Jones in 6th. Dylan Young's now worked his way up to 5th. He'd love to be able to pick up back-to-back Snickers Cup Series wins as he won last week at the road course of Champs-Élysées, just barely beating out Sean Galligan by a car length. Now look who's up to 4th, Nathan Hudson. Now this race is in honor and memory of his grandfather. And Nathan Hudson was able to race his way in via the heat race. Oh, Cittadino took the turn wide, and he's into the fence again. 2nd straight night. Oh, contact coming off pit road between Nathan Hudson and James McLeod. And Hudson's pushing McLeod through the corner. That just killed Nathan Hudson's momentum. But Hudson running very well right now, still in the 4th position, I believe, having a great run here. He'd love to be able to pick up his 2nd win of the season in a race dedicated to his grandfather, no doubt. Actually, I think Hudson did lose a couple of positions. I think he lost one to Bob Jones. I think he lost one to Dylan Young. There's Levi McIntyre continuing to trudge on in that 3rd position. McIntyre looking good right now, but the problem is he doesn't have the track position like Joshua Collard does. But McIntyre, same car he drove in heat race number 2 where he dominated in the final few halves and just had John Cittadino get into trouble with Tanner Sullivan. I think those two may have gotten together when Cittadino came back off pit road. Sullivan's already a lap down. There's Dylan Poteet. We didn't talk about him hardly at all during the first heat race, but he had a solid run. I think he ended up finishing 5th in heat race number 1. I may be incorrect in that, but I think that's where he finished. Right now, the Vizio Hulu plus Chevrolet looking very good. Poteet trying to go to victory lane for the 2nd time this season. He won earlier on at Dover. And going back to that point I was talking about where drivers are running in points, could depend on whether or not they're going to make the chase or not, even if they are race winners, due to the fact that we have 14 of 16 race winners already this season. Dylan Poteet comes into this race 28th in points. The only other 2 drivers beneath him in points that have a win are Michael Norman, 30th in points, who's not in this main event, and Levi McIntyre, who's 34th in points. So if it comes down to 16 different race winners winning with, say, 2 more races to go, and then we have 2 more different race winners, Dylan Poteet, Michael Norman, and Levi McIntyre, they could all find themselves in a very sticky situation. A couple other drivers as well not running so well in points that have wins. Makoto Gucci and Nathan Hudson, they could come into that equation as well as John Cittadino, who had such a great run in heat number 1 before he ended up wrecking. Well, he's gotten into the pit wall and he just spun out again. He's just having a tough time here tonight in this main event. Bob Jones has run into trouble in the 27 as now he'll leave pit road. Bob Jones trying to work his way through the points, 33rd in the standings, still looking for his first win. And Levi McIntyre is running into problems. McIntyre, who was running in the, I believe, the 3rd position just moments ago. He's in trouble. You know, the only driver that we really haven't talked about that has not had trouble and his name mentioned in the same sentence is Joshua Collard. He still is putting on a clinic right now. But ever so steadily, Dylan Poteet is running him down. Wow, that was a lot of lag. Let's see what the distance was this last time by. 3.2 between Collard and Poteet. Let's see if it's possible to run down the leader here at this track. Let's see how far back Poteet is when they cross the strike this time. James Qualls has hit the pit lane. He's running into trouble. As at the line, let's see where Poteet is. Did he gain? Did he lose? He did gain. He gained about 4/10. James Qualls now got to come off of pit road. Was so excited to be making this main event here. They've really needed something good to happen to this 70 team out of ML Racing. 39th in points. Wow, that was a weird sound. I don't know if you guys just heard it. It sounded like Alien Isolation in NR 2003. Good grief. But James Qualls is now a lap down. There's Cody Lamas. He's worked his way up to 5th now. Whoa, take that turn a little bit slideways. Hudson's up to 4th. Dylan Young up to 3rd. Poteet is in 2nd place there. Trying to run down Joshua Collard. See if he can run him down anymore. He gained 4/10 last lap. This lap, oh, he's closer. Much closer. He just cut it down by another 6/10 that time. We could have a battle for the lead on our hands. You see Poteet starting to close in very quickly. And that added pressure could cause Joshua Collard to make a mistake. We're going to find out if that's going to be the case here as Poteet continues to close in. We're not even yet to the halfway mark. There will not be pit stops that will come into play. It's basically just go, see what you can do, and try and win this thing. Collard took that turn very nicely, so did Poteet. Neither one of them got that wall. However, both of them seemed to stall a little bit on that second hump down that little straightaway. And now Dylan Poteet getting a bit of a challenge from Tanner Sullivan. That could take his attention away. Whoa, trouble right there. That's James McLeod, and he is stalled somehow on those jumps. I've seen that happen before. Sometimes if a car takes the turn just wrong, they're not able to get up into the next gear and be able to move. And apparently that just happened to James McLeod, who had just barely squeaked his way into this event via the 10th position in heat number 2. He actually ran into trouble on the final lap. The crew, he had to teleport to his pit stall. The crew got him out as quickly as they could, and he actually crossed the stripe on pit road to get the final 10th position. Which, if I'm not mistaken, ended up knocking out Sean Galligan, who finished that race in 11th place. But James McLeod, this could have been really a huge opportunity for him because, you know, we keep talking about the different race winners, how 14 different race winners of 16 available spots have won, but keep in mind, you know, Dylan Poteet's catching up to Collard here. If he wins, that's still 14 different winners of 16 spots. And if it comes down to it with having repeat winners in the next 3 events, then it's going to come down to drivers running highest in points with no wins. And right now there's been a good battle going on between Ralph Mason, James McLeod, and now Anthony McCurry has joined into that fray. They don't have wins this season, but they're running really well in points. And James McLeod with a big opportunity here. He came into tonight's race 9 points behind Ralph Mason. And Ralph Mason didn't even make the main event, so this is an opportunity for McLeod to jump back to the highest running non-winner in the points if it comes down to those drivers filling in the last available spots in the chase for the championship. As looking at the ticker, now Poteet's only 1.6 back, continuing to close up the gap as he has no Tanner Sullivan to contend with anymore. Joshua Collard, on the other hand, does have a driver to contend with in a moment, and that would be Bob Jones on the 27th. So if he then has to turn his attention to going by the machine of Bob Jones, I can't say slower car because he's not damaged. There's no damage in this. But then that could bring Dylan Poteet right to his back door, and we could have a full-fledged battle for the lead between 2 veterans. Both these drivers know each other very well. Both chasers last season. And whoa, what happened to Poteet? Did he stall out or did he spin out? Something happened, but he just lost a ton of ground. So there goes all that speculation of a battle for the lead as Qualls sits on pit road again. Something's apparently happened again to that 70 team. They're having a tough night. I mean, you know, it's great that they make the main event, but they want to do well in the main event. And so, you know, even a 20th place finish can kind of be a heartbreak for a team that's just struggling so much in the points and really needs a solid top 5 run or even a win to get their season turned around. So Collard leads. Poteet is in second. 3rd place now is still Dylan Young. 4th place, Nathan Hudson. He's actually starting to close in on fellow Ford Dylan Young for that 3rd position. Right now, the highest running rookie. I believe he's actually one of 3 rookies in this main event. Hudson, James Qualls, and Isaac Canepa were the only 3 rookies to make this event. Oh, no, Tanner Sullivan as well. I apologize. There were 4 rookies. As other rookies, Alex May and Makoto Iguchi and Joshua Balkowitz, as well as Zachary Fitzwater, did not make the main event. 5th place is Cody Lamas. Man, he's having a great run. And we talked about how James Qualls and his team are struggling. Same can be said for Cody Lamas and this 48 team. 40th in the point standings. They're actually the lowest running of the full-time veteran drivers in points right now. So this is great for him. See who's in 6th. Charles Sanford. So Mitsubishi actually had great runs going in Heat 1 with all 3 of their cars. At one time, Joshua Collard, Charles Sanford, and Brandon Gonzalez were up inside the top 7 in Heat number 1. Gonzalez ran into trouble though. But Joshua Collard won Heat number 1 and Charles Sanford finished in 3rd. Mitsubishi looking good here tonight as well with the 2 entries that did make the main event, as Sanford is in that 6th position. And Sanford actually is another of those drivers that doesn't have a win yet this season that's running well in points. He's actually 8th in the standings, so add him into that equation with McLeod, Mason, and McCurry as well. Dougie Shears up to 7th. Nice run for the 21. Remember back to Rockingham when it looked like he was going to win the race. He got contact from Charles Sanford, who's actually just up ahead. That could be interesting if he catches the 03. Another car on the pit lane. That's Harrison Langford. I was just about to try and look for him and talk about him as he comes out right in front of me. And Dutta. Langford, another driver who's running well in the point standings. No wins yet this season. He's 7th in points. Is Dutta in 6th? Nope. Or in 7th? Who's 7th? Or 8th, rather. We just looked at 7th place, which was Dougie Shears. 8th place is Kyle Corbett. Great run here for the Toyota. His teammate, Charles Jackson, did not make the main event. Corbett was really strong in heat number 2. And looking really good right now as Corbett's trying to pick up his first victory of the season. Corbett's only got one Snickers Cup Series victory coming at Auto Club. Right now running very well, but he's got to have all those other drivers ahead of him run into trouble as he's got a lot of track position to make up. And Charles Sanford has gotten into the inside pit wall. So that's a position Corbett will pick up. Oh, man. Kyle Matthews now moves into 8th as he's going to bypass Charles Sanford. Great run right here for him, and his teammate Jacob Lawler has now moved into 9th. Remember, Lawler encountered trouble earlier on, but his team got him off pit road, still on the lead lap. Well, he is still on the lead lap and inside the top 10 now. Is the defending champ. And round out the top 10, Jessica Shelton. Haven't talked about her here tonight at all, as she's having a great run. She's one of three Michael Norman Motorsports cars that made the main event. Dougie Shears and Bob Jones also making it. Jessica Shelton trying to look for her second win of the season. She won at Talladega. And the run she's having right now going to keep her high enough in the point stands as well as... Nope, she got the wall there. She got the wall. And Canepa is trying to catch her, but he's not... That wouldn't even be for position. I think there's only 10 drivers on the lead lap right now. That's the case. 10 drivers on the lead lap right now. Collard, Poteet, Young, Hudson, Lamas, Shears, Corbett, Matthews, Lawler, and Shelton. As Joshua Collard hits the stripe, 4 more laps to go, and he has not made a single mistake all night long. Collard has just run his race. He hasn't worried about the drivers catching up to him. He's got a lap car now of John Cittadino between himself and Dylan Poteet. Poteet's actually about to maybe get a challenge for second place. Dylan Young starting to run him down. The Dylan and Dylan show for the runner-up spot. All this going on behind the Mitsubishi Lancer of Joshua Collard. Right now it's looking awfully bright for Mitsubishi here to maybe pick up their very first win in Snickers Cup Series competition, but there still is a little more than 3 laps to go. And we've seen the leaders have problems before in the heat races. Collar's just got to be smooth. He's just got to try not overdriving this thing, because he's got a lot of distance right now. Hits the stripe, 3 more laps to go here at Stunt Road. Can Joshua Collard not only win the heat race to qualify his way in here, but also go from coast to coast, starting on the pole and dominating this thing from green flag to checkered flag? And if Collard wins, does this mean we would have a Mitsubishi Lancer in their debut season make the chase for the championship? We already have 2 possibilities for Chevy Camaro with Jacob Lawler and Cole Daly going to victory lane earlier on this season, and this is their debut season. Is it possible that Mitsubishi Lancer could? BMW already has Sean Galligan and Joshua Michaels. That may represent BMW in their debut season in the chase. 2 more laps to go. Collard's just got to be smooth. Collard, who has 1 victory in the Snickers Cup Series competition. At the current moment, I am not able to pull in where it was at. I do remember he almost picked up his second one at Champs-Élysées 1 year ago, and we were at that track last week. But Joshua Collard, right now, looking really, really good. Let's see if that battle for second is heated up at all. Nope, Dylan Poteet's in control of it as Dylan Young apparently fell back. He's actually now under fire for third from Nathan Hudson. Dylan Young, his win last week moved him up to 12th in points. He's now running third. This may move him into the top 10 in points. In the Young Duncan Motorsports Ford, Nathan Hudson right on his tail. Hudson not able to find a line, though, to be able to make a pass. It seems like whenever Dylan Young has a little bit of trouble, Hudson has the same kind of trouble in the same spot. As they have hit the stripe, Joshua Collard make that one more lap to go. White flag out. I was looking at the ticker when I was on John Citadino, who's actually a lap down. So it's the white flag in the air for Joshua Collard, trying to pick up the first win in the history of Mitsubishi Lancer in Snickers Cup Series competition. He has nobody behind him. Bob Jones is a long ways ahead of him. He could probably drive that thing as if he was out for a little Sunday drive in the country right now. I don't think he even has to race that car, as right now he's coming through the final few corners. He won heat race number 1 to get into this event. He started from the pole, goes coast to coast, green flag to checker flag, off the final jump. Joshua Collard is going to pick up his second career Snickers Cup Series victory, his first of Season 8, and Mitsubishi Lancer is going to pick up their very first career victory in Snickers Cup Series competition and maybe have clinched their very first spot in the Snickers Cup Series chase for the championship. Poteet got second. Dylan Young hung on for third. Fourth, Nathan Hudson. Fifth place is going to be Cody Lamas. He just crossed the stripe. Shears gets sixth. Looks like Corbett's going to come down to get seventh place. Eighth place is going to be Kyle Matthews. We're waiting on him. He crossed the stripe. He gets eighth. Here comes Jacob Lawler. He's going to finish the night out in ninth. And Jessica Shelton, the last car to finish on the lead lap, will get a top 10 here tonight in the 10th position. As there's Joshua Collard, your race winner. Came into this race 24th in the point standings. It's been a rather mediocre season for that 34 team. But what a victory here tonight. Mitsubishi Lancer came in with a very strong 3-driver team. Brandon Gonzalez, Charles Sanford, Joshua Collard, all former Snickers Cup Series winners. But it took them till race number 17 of the season to get one of those Mitsubishi Lancers to victory lane. But it's finally happened, and Joshua Collard is the one who was able to do it. What a great main event. Well, folks, it's going to be interesting to see how the points are shaken up after this race, too, because all these drivers are going to get 47 to 23 points depending on where they finished. All the drivers who did not make the main event get a default 20 points. So what is that going to mean as far as how the points look heading into next week? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's event. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. Be sure to follow the NNSCRA on social media. Facebook and Twitter links are in the description. We will see you guys next week, as I believe next week we are heading to Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. So hope you tune in for that. We'll see you guys next time here on the NJ Sports Channel. Offline racing at its best. Charles Sanford, but now he's got left side damage. But he still opens up his distance. He still keeps a distance for himself.